Hello, this is Dr. Bruce. Greetings to you in the name of the Lord. I appreciate the opportunity to have you on the Facebook Live today. And it's a good day. Very glad to be able to come and share a few things with you. And the topic I want to talk with just a little bit is love in an unfaithful time. We're in very perilous times when people are questioning whether they really have the real thing or not, because there's a lot of unfaithfulness going on in the land. And sometimes we become products of our upbringing. Many of our parents weren't faithful. Some of them had, women on the side and children from several different fathers or mothers. And we've had to deal with that in our society, in our culture. Some of us had to grow up without our fathers being present. And some have had situations where even the mothers were not faithful. And guess what? We're still living in some unfaithful times. In fact, even more so now than ever. I just want you to kind of just think about that in terms of the relationship that you have. Those of you that are married or in committed relationships, you're going to have to think about, am I faithful? Am I being consistent in my love to the one I'm with? I think you should consider that before you enter into a serious relationship. Hello, Giovanni. Hope you're having a great day today. And so I'm excited about all the good things that are going on. Before I go even further, I want to make sure I invite you to the Southern California Marriage Retreat, which is going to be June the 29th, the 30th until July 1st of this year. We're going to be at the Ayers Suites right there at the Ontario Mills Mall in Ontario. And I want to invite you. You can, of course, go onto the website solutionswithdrbruce.com, or you can also look me up on Facebook under solutionswithdrbruce.com on my Facebook page. And you can get all the details, and you can even register online, register for the retreat. It's $50 per couple, and you can call directly to the hotel and make your reservations. There is a particular code that you can look at on the flyer that's been designed for the Southern California Marriage Retreat. I just want you to know all about that, because I'm trying to do everything that I can, everything in my power, to help couples stay together, to help couples come together, and help them to be faithful in their relationships. And so there's information being left on the Facebook site, and Giovanni has been so helpful and helping to circulate information about this particular retreat. And I want you to make it your business to attend if you want to either save your marriage, reinforce your marriage, have fun in your marriage, heal areas in your marriage. That's what this retreat is all about. And so, in fact, even if you're seeking to come back together in your relationship, maybe you've been divorced and you really want to get back together, I certainly encourage you to come and be a part of this, because during these times that we're living in, relationships are in trouble. And it's usually because we're living in unfaithful times. People are not being faithful. In fact, there's one research study by Buss and Shackelford, a research firm, that determined that 30 to 60% of married people at some point in time in their relationship will cheat on their spouse. That's a pretty big percentage. 30 to 60% of married people will step outside of their marriage at some point in time. And those are startling statistics that lets us know that we don't really know how to love like we say we love. And if you really love someone, you're going to look at ways of enriching and strengthening that relationship that you have. And so I want you to begin to consider that there are great things that you can learn in your relationship. And so, but you're going to have to close those doors on any areas of unfaithfulness. because all you need to do is leave a little crack in the door, and deception and infidelity and cheating will occur. And sometimes it's how people spend their time. And see, you can't spend all your time working and trying to make a living and neglect your relationship. The same amount of energy that you put into gaining the relationship is the same amount of energy and time that you're going to have to take in order to strengthen and keep that relationship strong. Yes, I know you have to make a living. Yes, I know you need to raise children, but you need to raise and feed your relationship. You're going to have to feed it love. You're going to have to feed it attention. You're going to have to feed your relationship some affection. You're going to have to keep dating. You're going to have to keep mating. You're going to have to keep on hugging and squeezing and kissing and all of that stuff. I don't care how old you get, you still need to do some of those same things in order to keep that relationship hot, to keep it fervent, to keep it passionate, to keep it exciting. You're going to have to put some time in, and it can't be when you're tired all the time. Listen, when you're tired, you don't want to do nothing. Y'all may as well come on and agree with me, because you're going to have some energy and set some things in motion to keep that relationship in love, not just loving, but in love, so that your heart, your mind, your energy is poured into that relationship. And there was a national opinion poll that came out a little while ago, and it said that really 21% from their statistics, 21% of married men at some point in time will, commit infidelity, and about 15% of the women, 21% of the men that were polled said that they had committed infidelity, and 15% of the women that were polled said that they had gone outside of their marriage. Wow, those are startling statistics, and it just lets us know even more so that if people are honest, there's probably going to be even more so that will continue to be unfaithful unless they close those doors. Praise God. And so now that means you're going to have to close the doors on your thought life. That is, on your thought life. You got to close the door on your thought life. That is, you must not be thinking about having sex with other women or other men while you're engaged with your spouse. Whether you're making love at the time and you got somebody else on your mind, or whether you're watching a movie and you're fantasizing about having sex with that man or that woman, that will lead you in the wrong direction. So you're going to have to close the door on your thoughts and begin to think about the one you love. Let that woman be on your mind all day long. And guess what? Your interactions are going to be very, very different if you would just keep your spouse on your mind. How often during the day do you think about your husband? How often during the day do you think about your wife? It's going to be very important. See, that will close the door on infidelity if you would just close the door on your thought life. Don't let everything come in your mind and begin to feed those things into your mind. Also, you're going to have to close the door on emotional infidelity. That is, to share emotional time with somebody else that's not your spouse. That is, some people, they engage in conversations with other people that they're not married to, that probably need to be reserved for their spouse. That is, they, spend extra amount of time caring for a person and telling them good things about themselves, or helping them to solve problems, and they're of the opposite sex. You're helping them to solve problems, and you're really getting too engaged in trying to help care for them and care for their lives. Some people with good intentions, they care to the point that they cross the boundary of caring to the point that they start really caring in their heart. And then they wind up allowing their bodies to get too close, and then they want to show physical affection. If you show too much emotional affection, you're going to wind up showing too much physical affection. So you're going to have to keep the door of your emotions closed and share those things with your spouse, and not go to the extra extent to try to share things that are really personal with someone else who is not your spouse. And you're going to have to close the door on online communication. Sometimes people, they're online too much. They're talking to too many people about too many things, and especially people exposing things about their personal life online and allowing other people to give their opinions about certain things. And so that's really, really important. So you don't want to share too much about your own personal life online, or, to say things like, well, if my husband cared, or if my wife cared about me, or I'm not getting the kind of love, guess what? Somebody else will definitely step in and want to engage in helping you. They want to help you. They want to care for you. And before you know it, you found yourself in an online infidelity where people, they're not physically connected, but they're sharing too much emotionally and sharing too much personally online. And then people are sending other people messages and saying things in those messages that they probably should not say. And then likewise, you're going to have to close those doors on the texting as well, and texting other people, texting body parts, which they call sexting, and with people that's not you haven't had sex, but if you show somebody some of your body parts, then you're basically already cheating when you begin to send parts of your body to other people. A man saying, well, we didn't have sex, we just showed each other different body parts. Listen, that is textual infidelity. I'll call that textual infidelity. When you start showing parts of your body to other people, don't go there. Don't do that, because you've crossed the line. You're crossing the line. And so all of those things kind of go into making sure that you don't cross the line and make, statements or do things that jeopardize the relationship that you have. And so you want to make sure. In fact, going back into this national opinion search research, they said that they polled a lot of men and women. They asked them, if there was a possibility for you to never be caught, would you try getting with somebody else? If there was no possibility for you to be caught, 74% of the men said that they would. They would consider having an affair with someone else if there was no chance of them being caught. And 68% of the women 68% of the women said that they might consider it if there was no way possible for them to get caught. Look at the culture that we're in right now, where you've got people that supposedly are really loving their relationship, but if they had a chance to get away with something with someone else, then they would consider doing it. That's a sad state of affairs, all right? And also, finally, they asked those same amount of people. I don't know how many hundreds it was, but it was extensive, at least 1,000 people, whereby they said that 56% of the people that said the men that said they were happily married would consider going outside of their marriage if the opportunity presented itself. And also 34% of the women said that they were happily married, but if the possibility came up for them to do something that they, could get away with. I mean, we're talking about the people that said that they were happily married, might consider having sex with somebody else other than their spouse. I want you to understand that we've got to take full range and understanding, pulling in ourselves so that we don't find ourselves committing infidelity, because you want to start loving the person that you love. You want to spend time with the person that you love. You want to invest in ways of creating a greater atmosphere to let your spouse know that you sincerely love him or her. Don't back down just because of how your body may feel, because sometimes we're just human beings, but at the same time, we have a spirit and we have a soul and we have a body, and we need to be responsible to know that it is very much possible for us to be monogamous in our relationship, to be faithful unto one person. Because, see, you don't even know what real love is until you experience faithfulness, because it ties you together with that person. And when people are not faithful, they can't possibly understand the depths and the heights and the widths of love. And see, you got to understand that when love really has been tested, that's what makes love strong. When it can stand the test of attraction and temptation. That's what makes love strong. So I just wanted to give you those thoughts today so you can understand that you're going to have to show some faithfulness if you ever expect to really have a lasting love. So I wanted you to have a great day, and I want you to share this with somebody. And I'll be back next week, right about this time, to share with you some other things to help you along in your relationships. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.